From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Lisa Laporte. The Israeli military says it struck the central headquarters of Hezbollah in Beirut in a series of explosions this evening, the most powerful scene in the Lebanese capital in the past year. Israeli Defense Forces spokesman Daniel Hagari formally announced the attack via video.
The Israel Defense Forces carried out a precise strike on the central headquarters of the Hezbollah terror organization that served as the epicenter of Hezbollah's terror.
Top Israeli officials have threatened to repeat the destruction of Gaza in Lebanon if Hezbollah rocket fire continues. Canadians trying to flee Lebanon will soon be able to do so via seats on commercial flights booked by Global Affairs Canada. The federal government is strongly urging Canadians to leave Lebanon immediately, but an evacuation is not yet underway. A federal government official tells the Canadian Press the seats blocked by Canada could be to any destination outside of Lebanon. No deal has been reached after 2 days of negotiations with striking Vancouver grain terminal workers. Some 600 employees went on strike at 6 grain terminals in Vancouver on Tuesday. Dock workers at the Port of Montreal could walk off the job Monday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time after their union served a 72-hour strike notice. The union, affiliated with the Canadian Union of Public Employees, says roughly 350 members who work at 2 terminals owned by Termont, Montreal, would be part of the labor action. The strike could last until Thursday. At least 40 people are dead across 4 U.S. states after Hurricane Helene slammed into Florida last night as a Category 4 storm. And British actress Dame Maggie Smith has died at the age of 89.
Smith had a knack for stealing scenes, most recently on TV's Downton Abbey as the Dowager Countess of Grantham.
He hates to leave America. I should hate to go there.
In the Harry Potter movies, Maggie Smith was Professor Minerva McGonagall.
Potter, take Weasley with you. He looks far too happy over there.
Smith won an Oscar in 1969 in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie.
You girls are my life now. Soon you will graduate and I will no longer teach you, but you will always be Brodie girls.
Richard Burton once said Maggie Smith just doesn't take over a scene, she commits grand larceny. Smith remained in demand even in her later years.
I'm very lucky because there's always this endless thing about there aren't any parts for women over a certain age. Well, I've kind of reached the limit now.
Her sons say Maggie Smith died at a London hospital. I'm Ed Donahue.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Canadian soccer legend Christine Sinclair has announced her retirement from the sport.
The 41-year-old from Burnaby, BC, announced the news in an Instagram post, saying she'll finish her career with the National Women's Soccer League campaign with the Portland Thorns on November 1st. Sinclair retired from the Canadian women's national team last year after helping Canada win gold at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, as well as bronze at both the 2016 Games in Rio and the 2012 Games in London. John Kennedy, the Canadian Press.
The Toronto Blue Jays host the Miami Marlins in the first game of their weekend series in Major League Baseball action tonight. An emotional Vince Carter says he is, quote, beyond words as the NBA's Toronto Raptors announced plans today to retire his number 15 jersey on November 2nd. And the surging Winnipeg Blue Bombers host the Edmonton Elks tonight as Week 17 of the CFL season kicks off. From the Canadian Press, I'm Lisa Laporte.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.